Welcome to the Video News Netcast, Episode 5. If you carefully scan the internet and blogosphere, you will find that Apple has had some considerable difficulty in launching both the new iPhone as well as their much-touted MobileMe service. Although many people have had some issues in activating their new 3G-capable iPhones, once they're online, they seem to be most impressed by the growing selection of software that can be downloaded free or for minimal cost. Most applications are designed to work on upgraded older iPhones as well as iPod Touch players. It seems that Apple has locked onto a formula which will continue to fuel the intense interest in the iPhone and iPod products. As is usually the case, Apple's missteps have generally evaded detection by the traditional press, and most reports of issues with the iPhone and with MobileMe are seen in the blogosphere and webzine publications. Many potential Windows to Mac switchers will remain in the dark to the reality that Apple has its share of problems when launching new products. Today, we have an opportunity to share with you some of the behind-the-scenes technology used to produce Windows to Apple audio as well as this video podcast. Our producer Sam has shared with us a short audio review of the software application Mixcraft 4 used to record and mix the audio tracks.
I thought I'd take the opportunity to share how I now use a Windows application rather than GarageBand to produce iNet Sync podcasts, including the Windows to Apples audio and video podcasts. One of the reasons I bought my shiny white Mac was because I wanted one as a platform to test our podcast and because I lusted after GarageBand. GarageBand was almost everything I expected, and I'm happy I had it when I began creating podcasts. Many of our early Windows to Apples podcasts were produced using GarageBand. However, at one point, I decided to see what was available for the Windows platform. Luckily, I discovered Mixcraft 3, with a user interface very much like GarageBand. I suspect anyone familiar with GarageBand would easily be able to shift to using Mixcraft. I soon discovered producing audio podcasts using Mixcraft was actually easier than when using GarageBand. Selecting audio sources is as easy as clicking on a down arrow next to the audio arm option and then selecting the desired audio source. One of the reasons I find Mixcraft easier to use is because it is so much more mouse-friendly than GarageBand. Even though I started developing software and hardware for PCs in the early days of DOS, I've never really been a keyboard kind of guy. Give me a speech-to-text technology or mouse any day over a keyboard and complex combination of keys to perform an action. In fact, I'm using Vista speech-to-text technology to create the notes for this comment. It is much easier to edit recordings in real time when I'm using Mixcraft. If I misspeak and create a blooper, which is not that uncommon, all I have to do is stop the recording process, swipe the offending area in the track, and right-click to delete. Mixcraft is very intuitive and responsive when editing. GarageBand, in contrast, feels like it's stuck in molasses. Perhaps one of the reasons Mixcraft feels so much more responsive is because it has fewer features. The current shipping version, Mixcraft 4, includes an impressive collection of podcast-safe musical tracks, jingles, sound effects, and instrument loops. It works beautifully with my M-Audio interface and allows for the creation of lossless WAV files as well as MP3s. All common MP3 compression options are supported. Mixcraft 4 has all of the GarageBand features needed to create a professional audio podcast. However, there's no provision for creating video or enhanced podcasts using inserted photographs. Recently, I tried to use GarageBand again and found it uncomfortably slow. Mixcraft is one of those Windows applications that is actually a bit more intuitive and responsive than the Mac equivalent. I'm still very fond of GarageBand and happy I have it as a backup, but would find it a pain to produce audio podcasts on it now. Thank you for letting me share this with you, and keep up the great work at helping us produce our video netcasts.
Thank you, Sam, for sharing that with us. We understand in the future you will also provide additional information on other tools used to produce podcasts on Windows as well as Apple computers. Thank you for viewing and downloading. Remember, change is forever with us, and tomorrow a new adventure.